Here we go. All right. So, hey people, it's Kelly of Print Pray Slay. I'm here with my chronological study Bible. Okay, this is my favorite Bible. I like to show people the front cover of it because, of course, it doesn't come like this because this is Wrapped in Love by Mama Boucle. All right, I often share that a lot of my stuff. This is my faith planner. It's also wrapped by her. Um, if you like it, love it, then, go to her website. That's mamaboucle.com. This is the chronological life application study that I have. I have the New Living Translation. It also comes in King James. I tend to wrap my Bibles because of what happened to my first life application Bible. It fell apart, like literally. I still use it, but it fell apart like it no all of this. So I wrap my Bibles now so that they are kept together. So this is the cover that I chose for mine, and I have done multiple flip throughs of this study Bible, just to let you know what it is about, but also when I finish my studies. So when I finish my studies, I actually study live on YouTube with my patrons in a segment called Cookies and Christ, and that is with my good friend Morgan. And after I finish going through a particular book in the Bible that we're going through, and we are going through the Bible in chronological order, I tend to do a flip through of my notes because the live video is, of course, of me, my face, like up here. And while I'm on my channel, y'all usually are looking at my actual Bible or my journal or my planner or something like that. So I was like, oh, let me, show them this. So there are flip throughs already on there of my notes from Genesis, which would be all of these notes. Why is this right here? Why is that right there? I don't know why that's right there. This is supposed to be in here. It came out. And then I actually also have a flip through that's still Genesis. Genesis was long and it was like my favorite book so far. But the flow usually is that I show you like the pages. Like I'm just doing a flip through. If any notes pop out to me, then I'll share that with you. But for the most part, it's just so you can see the pages. Like how am I highlighting, especially if you all have that, this same Bible. Just to see what kind of tip-ins and things like that I've been using. I'm trying to get to the next book, which is Job in this particular Bible. I know it doesn't go like that, Genesis, Exodus, but in our study Bible, this chronological Bible, Job was next. So I already did the flip through of Job. Those notes and feedback are on YouTube already. Sorry about that. The boys are with me in the studio today. Here, I believe, is where Exodus starts. Yes. So again, my layout here is very simple. I usually just use washi tape around the edges or separating the segments because this is biblical text and then this is the study Bible portion. I use mild liners and Java highlighters. I'll grab those. Hold on a second. I did do a comparison video on these two. This is like $5. This is like $15. Very, very similar colors. Of course, this one has more in the pack. Everybody is used to these, but these work just as great. So I have both because I had to do the comparison video, but I love both. I actually use both of them in my Bible. So those will be linked below in the description of the video if you're interested in grabbing those, along with the Bible as well, because I get a lot of questions. A lot of people want to know where and how they can get this Bible. So that would be the flow of like just what I'm doing as far as like decorating. I don't necessarily put stickers or anything in there. I do have like post-it notes. These are supposed to come to the shop soon. I will let you all know when they come. There are different designs, but there are post-it notes, faith post-it notes. And they've been helpful for me, like to add that extra, because as you can see, the margin on the Bible is very, very thin. So this is not a journaling Bible by far. But I write with my Sharpie pen, the same thing I do in my journaling Bible, and write my notes on here. So what's going on here in the book of Exodus is this big exit, which, Exodus means leaving, like in the masses. So there's slavery going on in Egypt, and God chooses Moses to help in the situation to free the children of Israel. So what's going on is there is a king named Pharaoh who is not into letting these people go. So we're going through these notes, and what I have highlighted here is based on what stands out to me as I'm studying. So I usually highlight and then type up notes for the live video, Cookies in Christ. But I also write my notes in here so I can keep my notes. Even though it's typed up, I much rather have them here to flip through, and that's just a crafty part of me. And I'll do a flip through of this later. But that is the flow. What stands out right now, just at looking at it, is the fact that I've stated fear over and over and over. And it was out of fear that the king, the Pharaoh, wanted to get rid of all of the babies in Egypt, the baby boys, and gave this order to kill them. And then these midwives stepped in and they saved many of them at their own risk. And I thought that that was very noble of them. I said that this reminded me of what goes on like in the Holocaust, as far as like them being oppressed and killed and trying to stop their growth. And I was like, oh my goodness. So the Holocaust, slavery in America, us having immigration issues, the China one rule, one child rule, like those different things, what people in power do in fear, really, really is something that I wrote notes on, that I was like, wow, that really made me think about that. Um, let's see. Oh, when you are supposed to speak up and instead you are silent. That made me think about, so that takes a lot of courage when you're supposed to speak up instead of being silent in the situation. And it made me think about how when there are bad people in the world, like if there are bad cops, bad doctors, bad anything, instead of banding together, people in those scenarios that are deep in the woods of it, in the weeds of it, need to speak up. Um, could I give up my child for a better life is what I thought of here when I read about Moses' mother. God chose Moses and prepared him. So he chose him, he prepared him. All right. So that just it made me feel like if I'm chosen for something, then surely God feels like I am able and capable, and he will prepare me for the task that I have. Like this, I'm an introvert, and even being just my hands being on the internet is like, oh my goodness. But I'm getting through it. Please ignore the whines and whimpers of Miko. I don't know. I think he wants to go outside. Um, oh, this is nice and pretty and bright. So you can see that I don't stick to the same color palette of highlighters. Like I pretty much pick three colors. So this would be the purple, blue, and green. And then this one is the orange, pink, and yellow. I mean, you all see the colors. And then I have two different kinds of washi strips here. But you can see the dotted line. Let me show you what it usually looks like somewhere in the Bible that I haven't highlighted. So this is what the line looks like. I usually use washi tape to go across that. Sometimes it does go over the notes or the words. I'm fine with that. I know what it says. But if I wanted to, just washi tape, you just peel it back and read. I added little dots to this washi. This washi says light and perfect. This is faith washi. So this is Exodus 2. Notes here. Oh, Miriam, which is Moses' sister, and how she helped save him. When his mother put him into the river, she like made sure that he got to a safe place and was able to be cared for. So, Miko, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? Are you stuck? One second. Come on. And now you want to play with the toy? No toys. No, I'm doing a Bible study. Okay, sorry about that. All right. My family, my life, just please excuse. So, um, oh, my dad said that somebody is always watching. This is when Moses killed the Egyptian who was abusing a gentleman that was a slave. He like beat him to in front of Moses, and Moses went in there and killed the guy, and then ended up fleeing. Um, this is the angel of the Lord. I put Yahweh, which is YHWH. Um, this is the mountain where God gave the 10 Commandments here, but it was this at this particular point is when Moses was in the wilderness after he ran away from killing the guy, and the burning bush. You know, God was talking to him through the burning bush that happened to be near the mountain or at the mountain where God ended up giving Moses the 10 Commandments. I thought that was really neat. Sometimes when I have notes from other places, I come in and I write those notes here just so I can reflect on them. Let's see. Don't limit God by our own standards. Moses' mother, she was able to reunite with him and nurse him. So she had to have a whole bunch of faith that we talked about here in order to put him in the river. And then it all came back around and she was able to, spend more time with him later on. And he did not perish with some of the other children who was sentenced and put to death. This is a tip in that is talking about Taglio, fall hair, Kelly Keepsakes, and Print Pray Slay. These are my businesses. So this was a salon. This is a scrapbook company, and this is Print Pray Slay, which we are in right now. And so I wrote this as a note and talking about how God provides and all of the positions that God had blessed me to be in, where I didn't feel like I was ready because Moses didn't feel like he was ready. Because he was called. I can probably also add teacher on here, but I put parent and wife. Like there is no book on how to be a wife. There's no book on how to be a parent that comes with the instructions specifically for your spouse. However, we do have the Bible, and we also have each other, talking to each other in books on Amazon that help. But the Bible definitely helps share with you on the standards that God has for you, and being in it really does help you with these items, which are the things that you are chosen to do. So I have here chosen. Let's see, this is how I feel. Let's see. Okay, I was not formally taught or trained to be a teacher, but you called me to be a teacher. So I did talk about teaching here, even though the businesses and my roles as parent and wife are here. I have resources, family, friends, God's word, savings, each other. Here you go, YouTube. Like YouTube has been helpful for me and reflecting on my past. This is amazing, God. The Egyptians were so glad to see the Israelites go that they sent them out with gifts. And I said, amazing, God. So these people used to be slaves there. They were set free. And when they were set free, a whole bunch of stuff happened. The plagues and all of that happened. And the Egyptians sent them away with gifts. Like, please leave. Like, after that, that's what's going to happen. Let's see. Teaching, mothering. Do I do what Moses did? Moses had a stutter, so he was not perfect. You might think of a stutter like, oh, that's very minor. But if you are called to lead people and speak to people and speak in front of the masses, your speech impediment might, make you feel less than. And so do other things in life for us. Like as we go through life and we feel like, oh, we should have been able to do this, or I know I'm called to do this, but God, how come you call me to do this, but I can't swim? Or why did you call me to do this, but I'm not the best cook? Okay. Oh, I wrote, why did God harden Pharaoh's heart? And then I make a note that it is answered in 7:3. So I do that as well. So I write my questions on the side. If they're answered, I tell where the question is answered in the next text. It could be later on in the book when it's answered, but still. Talking about the covenant. You can see here I have the orange and blue. Sometimes I have the washi kind of, match, coordinate. Okay, descendants of Levi. I kind of highlighted that. Highlighted and then made a little block. This is pink and green and brown. I don't know how this happened. I don't know why I did that, but I did a highlighter and just, I don't know, in the middle of studying, what made me just be like, let me color my thumb and press it onto the page. I don't know, but that's what happened. That's why I have these smudge marks. All right, this little feather is getting on my nerve. All right. Oh, this is where the 7-3 answers the why from 421. So 421, that's when I wrote my question. And then I said the answer is in 7-3. We get to 7-3 and it says I answered the question from 421. These are my faith notes. Is it weird that the magicians were able to duplicate the plagues, some of them, thus adding to the problem, but they weren't able to take any issues away? So they were able to duplicate and show oh, we can do the same thing as the plagues, but they weren't able to heal the situation, which show that they were limited. They were not God. So I said only God. Do I have anything on the back? Okay. Let's see. I say, oh, really? So I really am, really. I make notes in my Bible that this, it's a friend, like how I would talk to a friend. So I have my little way that I talk inside of my notes. So this says, oh, really? And it's talking about the magicians. Let's see. It says frogs already came on the land, with the plague. They didn't really help the situation. They just added more frogs. So I was like, what in the world? So the Pharaoh's heart remained. So talking about his heart being hardened. This is laying out all the different plagues. So I didn't really highlight much about them. But it was just amazing that after all of this man still was like, nah. I'm just going to stick to how I feel. And I feel like y'all should be slaves and y'all need to get back to work, blah, blah, blah. He didn't believe that God was who he said he was. It just was a mess. What makes me a follower of God? The way I speak life and positivity, the way I love on people, my dedication, how I raise my kids, the way I treat folks. See, folks. Again, I write the way I feel and how I speak. My giving, lifestyle, my ministry, the posts that I the things I put into the world, and my prayer life. So I wrote that on here. This is another one of my post-it notes. I'm celebrating what the Lord did for me. Woo. Okay, fire and clouds. I'm really into clouds. If you know anything about me, that's my jam. That's my place to be. I love being up in the clouds, on a plane, going somewhere. So manifestation of God covering the sun and providing light. Moses listened, no pushback, growth. That's because Moses was complaining pretty much the whole time. And he felt some kind of way, I don't think I'm ready. I don't think this is for me. Are you sure you got the right Moses? All of this stuff. And this particular time, he didn't push back. So I said that's growth. And I love that the Bible shows that God uses those who are imperfect to do his perfect will. They not about that fight life, and God knows. He said if the people are faced with a battle, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So God led them in a roundabout way through the wilderness. So they didn't go towards the danger. God knew let me stir y'all this way. Let me take y'all around the back. That's what that note is saying. move. There's time to be still and there's a time to move. God was saying, why are you crying out to me? Tell the people to get moving. Go ahead, God. God made a way out of no way in a safe passage. Let's see. Did God say meat? The Lord will give you meat in the evening and bread. Saying, ooh, sorry about that, you guys. I popped y'all. Comfort. Oh, this is when the manna. Okay. God sent manna down to help feed the people after Moses led them out of Egypt. Um, um, Ways I guard my time. Study when my family is asleep. Study when my family is asleep. Make sure I journal my prayers. No music in the truck. Sometimes I just talk to God. Make it through church. I should have put on time. Schedule study and worship. Worship music while cleaning. Okay, so this is about the Sabbath. God knew that the busy routine of daily living could distract people from worshiping Him. Okay. Okay, hold it. I said hold it. These certain things, they just make me smile, and they make reading the Bible very, very enjoyable for me. I read it like it's a story, and so some of my commentary and some of the notes that I have keep me interested and keep me really going. So as long as Moses held the staff in his hand, the Israelites had the advantage. But when he dropped his hand, the Amalekites Amalekites gained the advantage. This was during the fight, but Israel defeated them. So I was like, hold it, like hold the staff, like as long as you hold it up, everybody gonna be good. Don't let us down by letting the staff down. Jethro, which was Moses's father-in-law, came to visit him and gave him some wise advice. Basically, he told him, stop trying to do everything by yourself, like delegate. Another one of my post-its, slow down. Lord, I'm not sure what I can and can't do on the Sabbath, but I want to know. Please provide me clear understanding and help me make it and keep it holy. I'm glad I read that. This is why I journal. This is why I put stuff down. Because when you think about it on your own, it's like, oh, I thought about that. And then that thought goes away. But when you write it down, it comes, it's like, hey, remember this. So I had this question about the Sabbath and keeping it and what Christians can and can't do during that time. And that is something that I still need to research. Like, I need to write it down. Look at this big old list of things I got to do today. I'm going to write just Sabbath real big on there. And what's ironic about it is I thought about that today because today is the last day of our winter vacation before me and the kids go back to school. And I was like, I want this day to rest, but I wanted to really do a whole bunch of videos. Like I have like 9 YouTube videos that I'm doing. And so I really wanted to get through them. And but I was like, should I be resting? Like, is this the time for me to like take a chill pill and just, relax? So this is talk about the tabernacle and the gold calf that they built. So build a god, like build a bear. So they talk about all the things that they want to do and all, like they're used to having a God that they can like reach out and touch. Now God did all of this stuff. He had this cloud. He helped them. He parted the sea. They knew that Moses wasn't this perfect person, but they knew God was with him. Like God. And then God was on the mountain with Moses, and they was doing their thing. And they was down there with Aaron doing all of this. Like, really, Aaron, you helped. Like, when you should have been like, like discernment, like telling them like this is not what we're supposed to be doing. And I was like, it's because they were impatient. But I said, so build a God. Oh, Moses was mad too. I said Moses is big mad too. It says he burned with anger. I said he was overwhelmed. Okay. So when he came down and saw, like, Moses and God were like having a conversation, and God was like, can you go check on your people? Because something in my shanana is telling me that they down there acting a fool. Go tell them to stop doing what it is that they doing, because Aaron ain't doing that. This is the dedication of the tabernacle. This is like a depiction of what it would look like. Because we will read, like, the Bible has so much detail on the tabernacle. Like, this is the place where people could connect with God. And so there's a lot going on. And then Exodus ends, and then it goes into Numbers, but it starts off with Numbers 7. So this is how you can see how my Bible kind of like does its thing. So we got Exodus 40, that's the last chapter in Exodus, and then it goes into number 7, because number 7 is around the time frame of Exodus 40. All right, I'm gonna do that only because that is the end of that particular portion of my Bible, and it ends in Numbers 9, 10, and then we get into Leviticus, and that's what I'm studying right now. So you'll see this flip through later on. Was my Bible out of frame that whole time? I'm sorry. But that is how I study. That's my flip through of how everything was going, what my washi tape. This washi tape is in my shop. This is the Wild Thoughts washi tape. How my washi tape laid down. This one also. How I do my highlighters, what highlighters I'm using, what pens I'm using, and ultimately what study Bible I'm using. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed this flip through. I really enjoy sharing with you guys everything. It's like unfortunately I'm not able to like give you notes on the whole book of the Bible that I'm going through. But again, that's why Cookies in Christ is there. It's all broken up into 1 hour segments. You can definitely piecemeal it. That is the beauty of YouTube. But let me know if you have any questions. I will link the playlist for Cookies in Christ. I will link the Bible, and I will link the highlighters below. And eventually, the post-it notes will be in the shop. All right. And that is a backwards view of Exodus. All right, thanks so much for hanging in there and watching this with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it inspires you to get in your word and get down and start highlighting and make notes and things like that. It is not about having a beautiful Bible. It will just be beautiful because you know that you were in it. Even the pages that I had that just have a little bit beautiful, like I was in it, okay? That's all there is. And that's why I use the washi tape also, because say there's nothing to highlight, say there's nothing, like nothing really popped out at that time, you put your washi tape on there, you know you at least touch this page. All right, which obviously I gotta put washi tape on it, but that's where I ended in Leviticus, so I gotta put washi tape on it. But I'm gonna stop giving y'all sneak peeks of Leviticus. All right, thanks so much for watching. Bye.